basically a superhero already.
Okay,
due to her
no.
midichlorians.
No, this is bad. What's up, YouTube? Today, I'm gonna be watching Audience Hate Bad Writing, Not Strong Women by Master Samwis. Go subscribe to him. Do it right now. I've heard some really bad movies where the women are just like superheroes for no reason. Like they get all their powers, freaking everything, just right off the bat, right? And I feel like it's really bad. It's not a good movie. It makes really flat characters. So that's why you need not strong women, but not a good writing. And yeah, let's get right into the video.
She-Hulk, Peter Pan and Wendy, The Rings of Power.
I think I've watched this
Captain
actually.
Marvel, The Last Jedi, Mulan. All products featuring a female lead of significant strength or power, all brutally panned by audiences. Why is that? Sexism, right? Or maybe it's just bad character writing. That's not to discount the
Dude, girl actors are amazing, bro. I think honestly they're better than men actors.
awfulness of any actual hatred.
Like girls just have that in them.
To their gender, but it's quite apparent once you think about it that such hateful commentary only finds any significant audience if the wider, less spiteful viewing public dislikes the character for their own, more sensible reasons.
Okay, go back. That lady that was right there looked hella annoying.
Dislikes the character.
Yeah, this girl, okay.
For their own, more sensible reasons. The main reason
she just gives off that Karen vibes.
of course, is that
maybe I'm totally wrong.
Lead women in film and TV in the past decade are just horribly written. There are plenty of exceptions, of course, and we'll talk.
Dude,
about
yeah, Arcane was so good, bro. I watched a video about it. It was so good.
Disney projects, as you could tell from my list.
I haven't watched it,
since
but
Disney owns half the world at this point, it feels like a
She-Hulk. Oh yeah, She-Hulk was so bad.
Issue. So what exactly
yeah,
makes
no, this
these
was horrible.
Such bad examples of what a protagonist should be? Well, it's hard to point to any one thing in particular. Not all the characters discussed here will share the same writing flaws. They all fail in varying ways, but they do have some similarities. A common one is being overpowered and not really earning that power.
Honestly though, like the Star Wars The Last Jedi, I think it was called, that one movie, I actually really enjoyed it with this girl right here.
Who have some similarities. A common one is being overpowered and
no, not her. What the frick?
Not all the characters discussed.
Yeah, the one with this girl in it.
The same writing.
The first one.
They all fail in varying.
I actually really enjoyed it. It was pretty good. The one with Kylo Ren.
The original animated.
I think Kylo Ren was a really cool villain.
Due to her inexperience.
Not better than Vader though, or Darth Maul, but you know he's pretty cool.
Advantages by using her wits, thinking creatively, and refusing to quit even when things seem hopeless. The new Mulan is basically a superhero already.
Okay,
due to her
no, this is bad. Yeah, just no. I'm sorry.
And thus is automatically more skilled.
Oh wait, was that like okay? I thought that was like the main character. Is this her? Okay, wait, this could be pretty cool.
Need for her to use her brain or develop new ways to approach problems, leaving the character flat and uninteresting.
Oh really?
Noting that when I say earning power, that doesn't necessarily mean doing something noble or virtuous that results in the character being given great power, as is the case with someone like Captain America. Most superheroes do not earn their abilities in such a way. Their powers are forced upon them through chance or freak accident, and that's fine. However,
yeah, that's a cool way to get your superpowers. I don't know. I feel like forceful ones, though, I mean, yeah, they're not as cool as, like, working to become a superhero. I don't really see in a movie like that, though. So,
to then earn
I think that'd be a really cool concept
for should have to
a video or a movie
to grow into his or her abilities.
Yeah, right. Like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man movie is a classic example of this. Peter Parker is given superpowers through a random spider
bite, and he has to like freaking
do with his newfound abilities, nor even how to put them to proper use. There are significant.
Dude, yeah, this Spider-Man movie was the best. I remember being like 4 years old and watching this.
As he learns
oh my
to be
god,
the
dude.
hero he now must become. A more recent example of this trope that was
Tobey Maguire for sure the best one
is Kate Bishop from the Hawkeye show that at least 20 people watched. Despite being an incredibly talented archer and martial artist from the get-go, Kate is woefully inexperienced in the world of crime fighting and has to learn how to apply her skills in each new situation, relying on the mentorship of Hawkeye himself. On the flip side, we have characters like She-Hulk.
Yeah, that's a good way to tell a story though, because then you know it gives you a good plot line and a good sense of direction for your story, you know, trying to fit into their superpower craps, you know. So I think it's good.
Hulk and Ray Skypatine.
You just see a lot of it. It's not really original.
Jedi training was basically just whatever the plot required at any given moment. Jen Walters woke up as She-Hulk.
See this one.
Basically just.
I really like this Star Wars movie. It's really
whatever
good.
The plot required at any given moment. Jen Walters woke up as She-Hulk and immediately was in full control of her alter ego.
Yeah. Okay. That's bad. That's really flat. There's no like progression or anything with that.
The central struggles that defined the characters from whom these heroines were derived
Ugh. Yo, he's disgusting, bro.
are
Yo,
just
get him off the
stripped
screen,
away
please.
and not replaced by anything meaningful. Jen's defining character moment takes place during a group therapy session when she comes to the realization that she needs to accept that she doesn't need to be She-Hulk to find acceptance. That's right, the apex of Jen's character
Wait, that's She-Hulk? Oh, I didn't even know that. What?
arc is her deciding that she can be herself. This
Interesting.
wasn't an issue, by the way, until after the She-Hulk persona was present. Prior to her accident, Jen appeared to be quite satisfied with her life. For
Yeah.
some unknown reason, she only decided to get into the dating scene after spending some time as a giant green monster, and then found out apparently there's no market for a reasonably attractive 30-something-year-old lawyer in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no one wants
I
a
don't
girl like
know
that.
about
Come on.
you, but to me that feels a bit contrived. Look, I'm not in the online dating scene, but I have it on good authority that women tend to get significantly more attention than men do on those apps, especially if
Kind of based. I don't know.
they happen to be
Maybe it's
successful
true.
and not ugly. Does this show seriously
That's
expect you
based,
to believe
holy.
that the only guys willing to even talk to Jen Walters are total creeps and losers, or alternatively, men who are only charming and friendly because they have an agenda?
Is that really what
Planes.
that plot was about?
Multiverse.
Dude,
Speaking of which,
sounds so lame for a superhero movie. Who cares
let's
about
talk
dating?
Disney's obsession with
Show us
promoting
the
and elevating
superhero
women.
stuff.
It's one thing to have female characters who are smart, strong, persistent, and courageous.
True.
It's quite another to simply promote the power of women by setting them up on a pedestal. That kind of treatment is nothing more than pandering, and stories
Yeah,
that
that
contain
is pretty
it
bad.
suffer greatly. Take, for example, the recent Peter Pan and Wendy, which decided that the all-male cast of Lost Boys wasn't inclusive enough, and so tossed some girls into the mix.
Dude,
Girls
I hate when they do that, bro. Oh my god, dude. It's like what is it? Blizzard did that with like some other game. I don't remember. Asmongold was talking about it, and bro, or no, it was like gay people or something. Like they changed the whole storyline just to add some diversity. You know, like bro, stick to the original, man. Stop trying to make it into some other agenda. It's just a story, bro.
can be rough and tumble too, you hear? Do you know why the Lost Boys were originally all boys? It's
Because they're lost boys, not boys and girls.
because they fell out of their prams, or strollers for you Americans, and were carted off to Neverland. And girls are far too clever to do such a stupid thing. But apparently no one involved in the casting decision had ever read the original novel, so
Yeah,
here we are.
they didn't stick to the
Or
original.
we could talk about Captain Marvel and the thinly veiled metaphor for the patriarchy embodied in the one dude who keeps telling her to not use her true power because that's cheating or whatever. And of course, She-Hulk seems to be mostly made.
Okay,
just
that's
to
kinda funny, I
complain
don't
about
know.
the pig-headedness of men.
There's a hot chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to it.
Yeah,
Talk to
nobody
it?
talks like
That's so bad. Why would you say that? What the?
that. It should come as no surprise that these
Okay.
shows and movies don't
That's
just
just
fail
sexist.
at writing good female characters. They're terribly written across the board.
I'm the spy. What?
It's not just Rey that the audience dislikes. No characters from the Disney trilogy won the hearts of the audience.
Really?
Remember
Oh.
how great of a character Nick Fury was in Captain Marvel?
I kind of liked Ray.
Neither
I
does
don't know.
anyone else. Elrond really stood out in the Rings of Power, right? Okay, he actually wasn't terrible. He wasn't good, but
Who's this
could have
kid?
been worse. Honestly, Galadriel could have been worse too. Not that I think she was well written, she wasn't, and her introduction in the first episode is basically a how-to course on annoying audiences. We first meet her as she's being tormented by other elf
How-to
children
course,
for
okay.
having the audacity to think that her origami swan will float. Not only does this display a severe lack of understanding of what elves are in Tolkien's Legendarium on the writer's part, it demonstrates a cheap trick that modern media likes to use in order to attempt to make the audience like a character. Forced sympathy. The mantra goes something
Forced
like
sympathy,
this.
okay.
Look, this character is being mistreated. You must then feel bad for her and like her. The correct response to that is, of course,
Well, I think that's fine. But if the forced sympathy is because she's a girl, then yeah, that's bad.
why is this character being mistreated? For all we know, Galadriel was being a complete twerp just moments before this scene.
I know,
and was
right? She
totally
kinda deserves it,
deserving of
huh?
having her boat sunk. There's no narrative reason that the show gives for Galadriel to be tormented here. It's just an attempt at manipulating the audience into feeling bad for the poor, helpless victim.
Oh, I
and
see.
thus
Okay, never mind.
hopefully liking her. Contrast that with Arcane and the plight of Vin and Powder. The show opens with an actually tragic scene, and it doesn't stoop to the pointed, petty tactics of Rings of Power. Galadriel lives in Valinor, a place of transcendent peace and
Dude,
harmony. So
exactly.
the writers
This place looks angelic, bro. Like, bro, she has no problems here. Come on.
contrived an inane attempt at sympathy. Arcane is set largely in a brutal slum of a city, but it gives its
Bruh.
main character a plucky, relentless attitude that rejects the victimhood status which so many other modern properties confer upon their heroines. Because if you're a victim, how can anyone hate you? Well, it's pretty easy when you're incredibly smug and don't give a rat's ass about the safety of your troops.
Yeah, that makes
The
sense.
me against the world vibes from Galadriel in the first episode are just so tired and overdone. We know she's going to be right about Sauron still being around because of course she is. She can take down the Ice Troll single-handedly because of course she can. However,
Yeah.
that on its own would not necessarily be bad writing. Galadriel, because that is what
Are
the
you
show
sure?
calls her, is quite old and
I feel like that's bad writing. You're just like, oh, I can kill you now because I'm a girl. I feel like that's bad writing. I don't know.
thus an experienced warrior.
Here,
I'm willing to Galadriel
Let me hear
began.
it. Here's explanation
However,
again.
that on its own would not necessarily be bad writing. Galadriel, because that is what the show calls her, is quite old and thus an experienced warrior.
Oh, I
I'm willing
guess.
to
Yeah,
accept
true.
that this character has spent centuries in combat and thus is highly skilled and
I didn't think
capable
about
of
that.
such feats. What makes this scene so absurd is that all the other elves around her, these warriors
Yeah,
handpicked
true.
to
These guys get obliterated, bro,
exterminate
right?
Sauron and the remnants of his armies, are completely and totally hapless and helpless.
Yeah,
to the point
bro.
that they might as well be a different species than their leader.
Oh my god, that guy just got bodied.
It's totally
Okay.
fine to have protagonists who are supremely skilled, but it's a really poor choice to have the supporting characters be complete buffoons in order to
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
showcase that skill. Galadriel might as well just be out there on her own. Really,
True.
most of the examples I've listed tend to just do things solo. It is up to them and them alone to win the day. As in
I do like movies though that have like a solo like protagonist protagonist that freaking just kills everything. I like those.
Captain
So,
Marvel and
I wouldn't mind
Mulan,
that,
all they really
honestly.
need to do is seize the power that is already within them, to throw off the shackles others would impose upon them, and victory is theirs. The dramatic shift between victimhood and total power is what these movies believe to be meaningful character work, but it's really just a violent swing from one extreme to the other, and neither end of the spectrum is healthy.
I wonder if they do this with men too. I'll have to find that out.
There's a huge difference between having agency and being world-conquering forces of nature that only needed to shrug off the hands holding them down. If you're going to write the hero of a story, a central character who ultimately is able to conquer the evil he or she faces, you need to make them earn it. That
Dude,
protagonist
Tom Cruise is just so cool, bro.
needs
I'm
to
sorry.
struggle or even suffer as they obtain the strength necessary to win the day.
Yeah, exactly is what I'm talking
Someone
about.
Once said that
Can't just give the
being a
girl powers
stranger
and
in a
expect it-
strange land.
Ideally,
Expect it to
they
be a
would
good
find
story.
such strength through meaningful relationships, or
That's
by
what
learning
that's what made Arcane so good. All the characters had to like build up their strengths and stuff like that.
from those wiser or more experienced than them. Recent examples of this done at least fairly well. Rita Vertasky, a supremely skilled soldier having
Who's
to
that?
work together with Tom Cruise's character, whose name I forget, to gradually establish a plan to win the war.
Exactly.
Vi being motivated by love for her sister, relying on others in her fight, badly missing the guidance of her father figure. Kate Bishop being mentored by Hawkeye as she realizes how ill-prepared she is for the world she has stumbled into. There are plenty of other examples of female protagonists who match that description, but I wanted to point out some from within the last decade to
Dude, yeah.
emphasize
You
the
gotta have
point
some
that
sort of plot
audiences
device
do
that make
not,
it
by and large, just hate any strong
watching,
woman
you know?
on screen right now. Just the ones whose character arcs are flatter than the state of Kansas. Characters who need
Good joke,
only
bro.
achieve
I like that one.
self-actualization are not only boring and lack
Get some
meaningful
depth, you know?
character work, they teach us awful lessons. The idea that all that is needed for success is to seize the strength and power already within you is a harmful notion that discredits the value of relationships, personal growth, and humility. You are sufficient, these stories tell their audiences. You don't need to change. Our heroes are supposed to inspire us, either by their ability to grow beyond their own flaws and failures, or, despite being paragons of virtue and goodness, still having to struggle against overwhelming odds and
I like that. Yeah, that is true. I really like what he's saying right now. Because, you know, the more your character has to experience, right? The more that the troubles they go through, right? The more hardship they have, the better the story is. They're a lot less flat, you know? There's a lot more depth and personality into it, you know?
having to use their wits, to be creative, to trust their team.
Exactly.
To win
Be
the day.
creative.
Indeed,
Team,
some of the
all that
most
stuff.
admirable characters in fiction, ones who do not suffer all that much personal growth due to having already attained great virtue, find themselves insufficient. This is most clear in Tolkien's work, where characters such
What
as
does he mean?
Faramir, Theoden, and Aragorn, great men who suffer little if any inner turmoil, at least in the books, are not able to win the day, but rather can only play their part in the
They fail. I see. Okay.
war that will
They're
define the
insufficient.
future of Middle-earth.
I get
They
that.
teach us the message we need to hear, the message that Disney and Hollywood want to keep from our ears. And that is, you are not enough, but you still can do great things. They may not bring you glory. They may even bring you pain and suffering. But if you put the good of others before your
This is the low point for Major Cage, when he runs away from the fight, from those who need him.
own needs and wants, you will find true and lasting happiness. So many modern heroines fail to win.
Another good another good way to know that a movie's good is if it makes you cry. That's how you know you're emotionally invested in the characters and the plot.
In the
Stuff
love
like
of
that.
the audience because they take shortcuts to power. They are elevated by the story rather than having to climb up their own character arc. They are shallow character molds created largely to prove a point or push
That
an
was pretty
agenda,
cool.
And perhaps most importantly,
What Mulan did
they
right there.
tend to care for themselves, their own success, their own ideas of what it means to be fulfilled. Hollywood and Disney in particular seem to want so badly to provide us with examples of powerful women, but they fail to understand what makes for a good example or role model. The heroines they prop up are too often shallow, unlikable, and exhibit many of the traits, such as arrogance and abrasiveness, that their creators find abhorrent in male protagonists. How is this fixed? Simple. Create characters to tell a story, not to prove a point. Either show flawed characters who have to grow and change to heal their inner wounds and overcome their shortcomings,
Basically at depth.
or give us paragons of virtue who have to struggle, sacrifice, and suffer due to the evil they face.
Yes.
But most importantly, write characters whose defining moments do not come as they realize their own worth and value, that they themselves are sufficient, but rather as they decide to take selfless action for the good of others.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Well, those
Aw,
are all my
that's
rambling
emotional.
thoughts on the matter. I hope we see lots more characters like Vi, Kim Wexler, Rita Vertasky, and Evelyn from the Quiet Place movies. I just realized two of those characters are played by Emily Blunt. No surprise there,
Oh
considering
my god,
her-
was he about to shoot him? Hey,
Evelyn
yo.
from the Quiet Place movies. I just realized two of those characters are played by Emily Blunt. No
Yo. Okay, bro. Relax there, buddy.
surprise there, considering her publicly stated thoughts on the strong female lead trope.
Wait, what?
Strong female
Blunt, who stars in an executive produces gritty okay Prime Video series The English slammed the concept of a strong female lead character. It's the worst thing ever when you open a script and read the word strong female lead. Yeah, that just sounds annoying. I can already tell. Blunt told The Telegraph, that makes me roll my eyes.
lead trope. Anyhow,
I can
let
see
me
why.
know your thoughts and opinions, and I will see you in the next one.
All right, yeah, that was a really awesome video. What is this, Master Sam? He only has 50K? Yo, what? Get this guy some more subscribers, bro. What? That was a really good video. All right, let's read some comments. Write characters to tell a story, not to prove a point. Very true, very true. Hale Steinfeld definitely has some of the best well-written female leads in her projects. Yeah, who is Hale Steinfeld? Is that girl that was like pointing a gun at this? Yeah, this girl right here. She seems like I gotta watch some of her movies, honestly. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.